Welcome. Today's video is about this G-Wagon that I wrapped in 3M 2080 satin black. Before I do the install, this was wrapped before and that shop or installer put a bunch of knife cuts in the paint. Luckily, it's our turn to do it right. Now before doing this install, we have to do a lot of things prior. We have to remove the old wrap that was on there. We need to prep and clean all that adhesive, remove the parts, and prep and clean for the wrap. Good. Now we can go ahead with the install. But one of the key points when installing with others or being hired on for a project is communication. Without communication, things can go a lot more wrong. Yeah. Just do the whole top. Tack the whole top and then. And when I speak about communication, I'm talking about speaking your way through the installation. For example, someone can squeegee faster than you and you can be at completely different areas and create a kink in the film, or even with big graphics like box trucks or semi trucks, even this vehicle, if the wrap was printed, then misalignment on the graphic can happen, and that is a very costly mistake. But as you can see, we're communicating it properly, no one's getting carried away and going too fast, and we're moving evenly and consistently, working our way down. Now I know you guys can see that I'm using a torch, and this is a little tip for you guys if you are doing any installs on satin film or any type of white film, even gloss white film. Using a torch can burn the film, it can get too hot, and it can also gloss the film. Glossing the film means that you're going too close with the heat to where that satin film is heated so much that it turns into a glossy finish. So you don't want to go too close when it comes to a torch. And if you want to mitigate that risk, I would recommend to use a heat gun because it's much safer and it produces a more consistent heat and a less sharp heat like a torch does. And when you get too close with a torch, a white film will brown out. You can burn it, it'll look brown, yellow, or black. Now in this next area, I'll be working on the windows, and I'll be bringing that film from the middle of the area to the corners so that it's not overstretching. This is called a leaching technique, or the leaching technique. Basically leaching all of that film from the middle, heating it up, getting it soft, and pulling it outwards toward those deeper recesses. So again, that you don't get any overstretching and the film is pulled from the center. Now, like I just completed here, the leaching technique is finished. Make sure you test everything with heat, doesn't pull back, make sure there's no tension, and then we just cut away the edge. Clean on the edge. Now I'm not sure if you can really see how short my blade is, but it's maybe one, maybe two clicks out. Not that far. If you have your blade too far out, you can end up slicing straight through the plastic or the rubber seal on the window, or even cutting straight into the glass or the panel underneath. So only have one or two clicks out when you're cutting that close to the paint. And that is a completed window. And on to the next window. This one does have a rubber seal on the inner edge, so we're cutting it maybe a quarter inch, maybe even less than that short, so that we can tuck it deep underneath that seal so that we can get a complete OEM finish. So just to walk you through my thoughts on this bumper wrap, the only issue that I had with this, everything came out fine. The only issue I had was that the bumper was so big that it didn't even really fit on our bumper stand. So every time we try to wrap it or pull tension, even with two people, it flexed and it bent and it just wobbled. so it wasn't great, but came out fine. Now, if you know anything about wraps, you know that the film does have a memory in it. So if you don't post heat the film after stretching it into even a small recess, that film will want to go back to its original flat state because it has a memory. So you have to kill the memory so that it stays and conforms into those recesses and doesn't bounce back out. That is the mistake that most people do make when they do wrap, is that they don't post heat. Go around the whole vehicle and post heat everything to your manufacturer's recommended temperature, which is usually about 190, somewhere around there, 185, sometimes 220 if there's a overlapping layer of the film. But you have to make sure that you do post heat even as a beginner. This is the most essential step. Now, the only things you'll need to post heat is just a temp gun and a heat gun. Then you incrementally walk around the vehicle and post heat all the doubtful areas that you have. Maybe you stretch too much or you think it'll pull back. Post heat that surface temperature to the manufacturer's recommended, which is around 190, 185, and you should kill the memory from there. Alright guys, so hold on, let me close this door. So this G-Wagon Brabus is finished. We concluded the project, everything's all done, it's gonna get parted together. I won't be here for that, so I'll give you guys some close-up photos, some videos, a little walk around of everything that's done. Came out beautifully, corners are great, tucking is great. Everything's been post-heated as well, so there's no longevity issues. Now I want to thank you guys for watching. Enjoyed the finished product. And usually as an installer, we don't get to see the finished product sometimes, so this is with the part still off. But as far as the installation goes, I think everything came out really clean, and we did it justice compared to what it previously was.